Hello, great people. There was drama and tension at the Federal High Court as Senator Natasha Akpabio suddenly showed up in court during the hearing of the case of her suspension by the Nigerian Senate. I believe you can see the video of the senator in the court premises on your screen, and there was a lot of legal fireworks between the legal counsel representing Senate President Godswill Akpabio and that of Senator Natasha Akpabio. On this episode, I'll be telling you what happened in court, the legal fireworks, the update of all that happened in court, and what to expect in June, because the judge will be delivering judgment as regards the case in June. We'll be looking at all these issues and a whole lot more on this episode of Politics. You will recall that the Senator Natasha Akpabio is challenging a 6-month suspension. Senator Natasha has been suspended since March by the leadership of the Nigerian Senate, and one thing that sounds interesting is that Senator Natasha is making some demands. She is demanding 100 billion naira compensation. Why is she demanding 100 billion? I'll be telling you in a moment. You will recall that her suspension came as a result of misconduct according to Nigerian Senate, but then Senator Natasha Akpabio is telling the court that no, her suspension is as a result of right violation, and the Senate suspend her after she had made allegation against the Senate president. So it is as a result of her reaction. It is reactionary to the allegation she made against the Senate president. And for this, the senator is seeking 100 billion naira. She is saying that the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has done two things to her. By suspending her, the senator argued in court through her lawyers. It was a very heated debate. They argued that, well, the senator rights has been violated, that the senator has a right, having won an election, to be in the Senate. So for you to deny somebody that is carrying the mandate of the Kogi Central people, for you to deny her representation in the Senate, it is a violation of her right. It is like somebody having a phone and you decide to take the phone away from that person. It is like somebody having a cloth and you decide to take it away from that. You have no right. The right does not belong to you, according to the argument of Senator Natasha Akpabio's lawyer. And they cited some interesting example. The case of Ali Ndume was cited in court. The case of Ningi, there are different suspension cases that have happened, and majority of those suspension cases, if not all, have been declared illegal. So the suspension of senators have been declared illegal repeatedly. So this is another case that is testing the waters again. So the senator is seeking 100 billion. One, I told you, for right violation. Now the second is for denial of representation. She's saying that the court should award her 100 billion naira for the denial of representation. But then the Senate is denying the people of Kogi Central representation, and that if she is in the Senate to represent her people, definitely she will be there to fight for her people. She will be there to kind of like also for her people, to use street parlance, that she will be there to make things happen for her people. But right now, other areas in Nigeria, they have people that are representing them, so they are adequately represented, and the representation will at the end of the day transmute into development in those areas. So she is saying that in this for the short period that our constituency has been shortchanged, and for that reason she deserves 100 billion naira so that she can use that to make up with the people in her constituency. After the argument, back and forth, different kind of argument, legal fireworks, debate here and there, and everywhere was, was heated up, fire and flames everywhere, different motions, this and that, that and this. The judge, Justice Binta Nyako, now said that, well, I will give judgment on June 27th. That I will be delivering judgment on the counter motion. And you will recall that the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, filed a motion in court that the court should sanction Natasha Akpabio for posting about the case on Facebook after the court have restricted the parties involved. You will recall that the Senator Natasha Akpabio posted a satirical apology letter. That issue came up in court. The judge said she's going to deliver judgment on that on June 27. Another thing that came up in court is the jurisdiction of the court. The Senate is arguing that the court has no right to intervene in what is going on in the Senate, that suspension of a senator is a legislative matter. It is done within the ambit of the law, according to the Nigerian Senate. It is within the that is the Senate says that this is Senate affairs. To put in code, it is Senate affairs that the legislature, being an independent arm of government, have no right to intervene. Now, the judge, Justice Binta Anyako, also said she's going to deliver judgment on that on June 27. Then she said that if she believes, if in her judgment, if it is right that the court has no jurisdiction, that is the end of the case. But if she sees it that the court has jurisdiction, then she will go forward to deliver judgment on whether the Senate has the right to suspend Senator Natasha Akpabio, whether it is rightly done or wrongly done. So you can see that there are different layers of cases, there are different layers of judgment to be given. And don't forget that this is a public spirited case. The public is interested in it, and both Senator Natasha Akpabio and Senate President Godswill Akpabio are fighting dirty in court. And the reason why they are fighting dirty is because this is the court of first instance. You know that this is the court that you can kind of like argue your case, submit your evidence, and anybody that has victory at the court of first instance, it always makes sense in the sense that when the judge gives a judgment now, if it goes the way of Godswill Akpabio, he will have more power. He will be saying, oh, the case has gone in court and the court have said that that our suspension is legal. But then if it goes against the Senate, Senator Natasha Akpabio will also be having bragging right too, that yes, you know, my suspension is illegal. And you may be wondering that, okay, why about the sexual harassment allegation? Well, from what I got, the sexual harassment wasn't mentioned in the judgment that will be given on June 27. I think the one before the court is that of the suspension of the senator. So there's a lot of issues, and I think Justice Binta Anyako has a lot on her hands because this is a public spirited case. So the debate in court between the Akpabio lawyer and the Natasha Akpabio lawyers is mainly about misconduct, that the suspension in the Senate is about misconduct. Why Natasha's lawyer are saying that no, it is not about misconduct, it is a reaction to the sexual harassment, that you are trying to suspend our client, knowing that if you suspend her, she won't be able to come to the premises of the Nigerian Senate, and if she's unable to come to the premises of the Nigerian Senate, then she won't be able to attend to the probe of sexual allegation harassment. So the lawyers of Natasha are kind of like pointing to a kind of like a political calculation to suspension, that why would you suspend her when she has accused you of sexual harassment? You know that when she has accused you and you suspend her, she cannot come to the Senate arena, and if she doesn't come to the Senate arena, how will you be able to hear the petition? How will you be able to kind of like debate on it, talk less of her tendering evidence? So they are seeing some political undertone to that. But then the Akpabio camp are saying that you have committed an infraction by refusing to sit on the seat that is allocated to you, and the Nigerian Senate leadership under Godswill Akpabio has the right to change your seat. Then you conduct yourself in a manner likely to breach public peace on the floor of the Senate. By so doing, whether allegation of sexual harassment or not, you will have the right to suspend you as a Nigerian Senate. Having breached the red book, or the laws in that their red book as contained in our there's a name they call that book now, but let me just call it red book. That you have breached the law in that particular book, and definitely you have to kind of like pay for breaching that particular law. So the argument is back and forth, but what we can see is that at the end of the day, even if Natasha wins in court, Akpabio will render useless in the Nigerian Senate. So long as Akpabio is the leadership of the Nigerian Senate, even if the court says, oh yeah, go and kind of like remove that suspension immediately, Natasha resume as a senator and start representing your people, even if she gets a favorable judgment, it is Akpabio that would acknowledge her before she can speak on the floor of the Senate. Now Akpabio is in charge of kind of like appointing people into committees, both the chairman of the committee or chairwoman, as the case may be, and members of the committee, Akpabio is in charge. Akpabio is the one that will kind of like appoint the offices for each senator as an office. So if you look at it, the power of the Senate president is enormous. So if Akpabio doesn't like you as the case is, definitely, even if you win the case, definitely Akpabio will render you useless in the Nigerian Senate. But then again, that doesn't mean that Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan should not fight a battle to the last. Another thing we must look at is what people have been talking about, which is the influence of the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, which is that you will remember Senator Elisha Abo revealed that the Senate President allegedly revealed to him that so amount of senators will be leaving the Senate, and it came to pass just as Akpabio has told him. So people are wondering that how did Akpabio know what the judiciary will be given as a judgment on the election petitions of those senators? Another thing is the professor of soil science at the University of Calabar that was sentenced to jail for fraud in an election that allegedly favors Godswill Akpabio. And there are media report that despite the court saying that the professor should serve jail sentence, the professor is not in jail. So people are pointing to the overwhelming influence of the Senate President Godswill Akpabio that will this case go the way of Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, or there will be some hide and seek, and at the end of the day, will the case be thrown out based on one technicality or the other? But it's a public spirited case, and we look forward to what will happen. What I can say is that the judiciary should look into it. Justice Binta Nyako should give judgment, and she should remember that one day she too will meet her creator, and their creator she will account to her creator of what she has used her power to do as a judge. I wish every one of them the best. It's been an interesting time with you. Subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past video. See you in my next video. I love you all sincerely.